If you're over 40, there's a good chance you're eating less than half of the protein your body is asking for. I know that sounds staggering, but this shows up in cravings, it shows up in a slow metabolism, the inability to burn body fat, imbalanced hormones, and lack of ability to sleep. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what's happening because of your lack of protein and what you can do about it. Protein is no longer for gym bros or those that are trying to get big and bulky, particularly men. This could be for women 40 plus the most important thing you put on your plate, or lack thereof. So why does protein matter more after 40? Particularly because you are losing muscle mass rapidly as you age. I know, nobody wants to hear it, but the truth of the matter is there's something called sarcopenia, that is the disintegration of your muscle mass as you age. Very similar to an osteoporosis, or the reduction of bone mass as you age. There are things that we can do about this. Firstly, important to understand that this is happening, and especially if you're not doing anything about it. Losing muscle mass causes so many other issues, or may cause many other issues. For example, the more muscle mass you have, the more your metabolism will run and burn, and will put your body in a fat burning stage. We need to replace the mindset of muscle mass as big and bulky. I mean muscle mass as long, lean, tight, fit muscles. It doesn't matter what age you are, at what age you see. We see women of all age groups that have longer, leaner muscles now because they're starting to understand the importance of muscle. But the first thing is to understand that we need it to increase our metabolism and put our body in a fat burning stage. Strength is certainly connected to muscle mass, or stronger you are. The little things that you can do throughout the day. It doesn't have to be big. You're not trying to move giant weights or boulders. You want to be able to carry groceries for yourself as you age. You want to be able to lift your kids or your grandkids. You want to be able to lift food out of the oven. Maybe you're quilting. Maybe you're playing pickleball. There's many different reasons your strength matters, and that has to do with muscle mass and the importance of protein, which offers you the ability to keep and grow your muscle mass, regardless of what age you are. Muscle mass is also tied to energy levels. The less muscle mass you tend to have, the lower your energy level is. And what about cravings? Usually with less muscle mass, meaning you're having less protein throughout the day, you're not balancing your macros properly, so you tend to crave even more in the evenings. And the last one to consider here is balance. When your body is more symmetrical, when your body has more muscle mass and more to the skeleton, you can balance better. And it's becoming more and more of a fear as we get older, our balance, because your bones, because of osteoporosis, become more frail or fragile. So there's a real fear of falling and breaking something. If you have more muscle mass because of the protein that you're consuming, there's less of a chance that you'll fall because of lack of balance. Those are all reasons why muscle mass matters more after 40 and beyond. Almost every woman after 40 is not consuming the amount of protein they should be having. I know, a bold statement. Let me help you understand the frame of reference I'm coming from. We've been doing this specifically, working with women 40 plus to help them increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones for over 20 years. And almost every single woman in this age group comes to us, they're not consuming the amount of protein they need. What happens is usually a light breakfast, if there's breakfast at all. That light breakfast is an egg and or toast. Maybe toast and avocado. That's it. It's a very small amount of protein. Then you could look at lunch. There might be a light salad. That salad could be a little piece of chicken breast, or maybe some nuts and seeds on there. But it's usually greens and maybe some vegetables. A very low amount of protein. And then we have our evening. Usually that's a staple. For most people in this age group, having supper in the evenings isn't a challenge. It's usually some type of meat. You might have a potato or a rice and then a veggie. That seems to be a staple. That's maybe 25 grams of protein. If you look at salad, maybe another 5 to 10. 30, 40 grams of protein. And if there's anything at breakfast, like one egg, which is 6 grams of protein, you're looking at less than 40 grams of protein for an entire day. And that's probably on the better end. Often we talk to women that only have one meal a day, maybe one meal and a light snack. And that's often because this is a carb-heavy world. Like, we were told to not eat anything at all. The less you eat, the less body fat that you'll gain, which is completely false. And then in regards to the carb heavy world, for breakfast, we usually have a toast or an oatmeal, granola, cold cereal. On the weekends, we have pancakes, French toast. That's all carbs. We have very little protein, and that's why we see such a lack of protein for this age group in particular. Okay, so how much protein do you actually need? This topic here is going to be challenging for a lot of women to hear. So let me help you understand frame of reference. The reason why this is going to sound like such a large number for you is because of your frame of reference. If you look at how much breakfast or how much food you're eating throughout the day now, some women are eating less than 500 calories. That is a malnutrition state. That gives your body very minimal chance to build muscle. Your metabolism isn't burning, so you're not able to burn body fat. You have the inability to improve your digestion. There's lack of energy. It's a very small amount of calories throughout the day, which means your body has lack of the ability to function optimally as it should be. Again, looking at frame of reference, if you're having a light breakfast, maybe no lunch, and then a big supper, you're maybe at 30 grams of protein if you're lucky. That's a frame of reference. If someone is overeating and we tell them to eat less food, they're going to think in their mind, oh my gosh, you're not giving me any food to eat. That's frame of reference. So understand, when we're talking about how much protein you should consume, it has everything to do with your experience and what your frame of reference is. 3 balanced meals a day is the minimum of what I would suggest, possibly 4. So you're looking at roughly 30 grams per meal, 3 to 4 times a day. So how much is that? That's 90 to 120 grams of protein. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Here comes the shock and awe. How could I possibly consume that much protein? We can talk about that, but I feel like it's, first of all, what we have to understand is you're eating far less, and we need to slowly start consuming more protein so it becomes more normal in your life so you can retain and build the muscle mass, preventing much of what I talked about in the first segment of the detriments of losing muscle mass and not having the amount of protein that your body actually needs. So to give you a quick example, we could consider adding protein shakes, a proper lunch, and an evening to give you about 75 grams of protein, which is 2 to 3 times the amount of what most women come to us at. So if you're looking at a protein shake alone, there's no meal. You don't have to create or prepare anything. Sometimes the challenge is finding a good clean protein, which we can help you with. But if you're going to have a protein shake in the morning, you put 1 scoop of protein in liquid, some type of milk or water, you shake it up and you drink that. 25 grams of protein, which is much more than 6 grams, which is what most women have in 1 egg. So you have 25 grams of protein just to start out the day. You might consider having your egg, then you have 31 grams of protein. Let's move over to lunch. Let's say you have a nice salad and you put a half a cup of cottage cheese on there with your salad. Or maybe you have a half a chicken breast. Offer you about 15 to 18 grams of protein just at that sitting alone. So with that adjustment alone, with your cottage cheese or half of a chicken breast, you're at roughly 35 grams of protein. And now we look in the evening, maybe it's a piece of steak or some other type of meat that's going to give you another 25 to 30 grams of protein. With those adjustments alone, you're looking at closer to 65 to 70 grams of protein, with only 3 meals, and you're slowly increasing the protein amount with each meal. Now in the evening, maybe you have a scoop of collagen in your evening tea that dissolves instantly. You can't smell it, you can't taste it. That's another 11 grams of protein, which is putting us closer to 70 to 80 grams of protein in a day, which is way more than most of the women that come to us, which they're starting out at. So understand, it doesn't have to be challenging. It just has to be incremental. We have to put protein first on our mind. We have to look at each meal that we're consuming and slowly increase. Maybe you're not having 3 meals a day. If you're having 2 meals a day, solidify the 2 meals that you're having, add protein to each meal, and then slowly increase from there. So you could be starting off at 2 meals a day, then move to 3 meals a day. Once you have those more solidified and you have the protein content that you're trying to consume, you might have a half a cup of cottage cheese in the evening. Maybe it's a high protein Greek yogurt. Maybe it's a scoop of collagen. There's many different options and avenues that you can go. But it's really the mindset that needs to be at the very beginning. It's the very root, changing your mindset, understanding the importance, and then feeling like this is possible. If you're having 15 grams of protein a day and you're like, I have to eat 90 grams, there's no way, you're not even gonna try. So first of all, consider that this is possible. This is very important to my health. And what are the action steps that I can take that are sustainable to my lifestyle from where it is today? That's gonna wrap things up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it helpful. We have a free resource that we're gonna drop here at the bottom. If you want our high protein recipe ebook, click the link below, enter your details, and we'll send it instantly to your inbox. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That certainly helps us out. Let us know in the comments if this was helpful. If you'd like more content like this, it helps when we hear from our audience, letting us know they appreciate the content we're putting out. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.